Hi, everyone. We're back.
Ah,
So
welcome.
we are here to give a little update about the podcast, Courtney and I's little life update, what's going on with us, where we were, where we're going. Does that sound good?
Along for this roller coaster ride. Yeah, it's weird just talking with you and not having a guest with us.
But I think we should do that more often. Like
I
I
think
think
so
just
too.
doing Q&A and talking about the most, because we both get a million questions, especially you. So I'm like, we should probably do that instead of just having a guest, like diversify the content a little bit.
Yeah, because I have a lot to say. And when we have guests on, it's more getting their opinions
Listening.
and thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
This is the Devin and Courtney show.
Yeah, I think that would be super fun. And it is, everyone has like a really unique experience on carnivore. And I think you and I, we're just not that people that we talk to aren't everyday people, because a lot of them are, but of course, all of them are. But, Dr. Chafee is kind of up there. And we're just a couple stay at home moms. One of us is writing a cookbook, but we have just like kind of a regular experience. So,
Yeah, and that's funny you say that because I do hear people in my DMs or just talking to me and say like I like following you because you make it just like normal. You make carnivore normal, a day to day, like it's just relatable because they're just like us. It might be hard to relate to. Granted, he's a wealth of information, but you're not maybe relating to what Dr. Chafee's doing in his life day in, day out. But
right,
us hot messes staying at home homeschool moms that are struggling. So
right. Yeah, and I do, and like we don't have time to do all the fancy schmancy stuff either. So I don't know. Everything I've made that's yours is like super quick and easy, and like 99% of people want that.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're bringing this thing back. What did we say? The first Friday of every month.
Yeah, we are going to cut back a little bit, I think, on the posting. The just once a week, it's so fun to do, but between the filming, the editing, and the posting, especially now with everything that we have going on between the both of us, it got really overwhelming. It's a lot of work. I don't think people understand that the filming itself and organizing and planning the meetings between all these people, and you're in a different time zone, and 90% of the people we interview, some of them are overseas, and it's a lot. So I think like a consistent schedule will be nice. Everyone can expect a new episode the first Friday of every month.
Yeah. And we are, so you're going to hear this first. You're probably going to hear this in the next few days because then we have Sean from Intentional Carnivore. Is that this week then? This Friday?
Yeah, it'll be this Friday.
Okay. um so yeah, so we'll do this. You'll be listening to this, I guess, a few days. See, we are not organized. We're just like, this is what we're doing. You're going to hear this in the next few days or so. It will be a few days before we are on our normal schedule, starting with Sean, because he had an amazing story. So we will get to that next time, but let's just fill everybody in on, because we took a big fat break around
We
KetoCon time, right?
Con, which was in April, so it's been like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. So where are you at? Because you kind of snuck away from social media a little bit. So I feel like people need more of an update on you than what I'm doing.
Yeah, I talked to James, the carnivorist. We did an episode and it was really fun, and I didn't even promote it as much as I should, but that was kind of like a life update too. I've been like loving being a mom. I because we moved from the city to the country, really unexpected, kind of turned my world upside down. But now I have like these kids who want to do things, and we're in a new area. So it's just like been exploring all the things. And then my son, Liam, my oldest, is going to school next year. So I'm the next year, this like in 4 weeks. And so I don't know, it makes me sentimental and sad because I know our life is like going to change because he's been homeschooled. And so now I just want to soak up every second I have with him, even though he's not going to be far and his school day isn't even super, super long. But I just want to be a mom. But that's why I stopped. My mental health is like always a journey too, because I'm crazy. I'm so anxious all the time. But I tried to reintroduce foods like 4 months ago and it did not go well. Like I was telling you, it did not go well. My interstitial cystitis is horrific right now. And there's a lot of contributing factors. It might not even be dietary.
Can it
It
be
might.
stress too?
So the top three contributors to cystitis is number one is a food allergy. So there's probably a food sensitivity somewhere. Number two is stress, and number three is a hypertonic pelvic floor. Do you like know anything about pelvic floor?
I know mine is like not there because I I won't tell everyone why, but like you're supposed to like I will easily pee my pants laughing. I'll just leave it at that.
Right, right. So like a hypertonic pelvic floor means like all your pelvic floor muscles are contracted really, really tight. And there's like a couple things that can be contributors, but what they think is because I lift so much is that, and then I'm terrible at stretching, that I have what could have triggered this flare besides the food introduction, because it could have been a perfect storm. Because I went months and months and months and months and months and months without a flare, almost a whole year. And then it overnight, what could have happened was I had like a heavy lift day on legs and my muscles in my pelvic floor just contracted. And then the way my doctor and my pelvic floor therapist explained it is that once something down there is super, super irritated, like a muscle or a nerve, your entire pelvic floor will just become inflamed because it either knows to be relaxed or it knows to be angry, is what they say. So I have been working really hard at doing yoga every day, which for my mental health has been helping too. But like lots of stretching because I have really strong leg muscles and really strong like glute muscles, but my abdominals are not strong. So my core and my basically like my bladder muscles are really, really weak because I don't focus on strengthening them. So it's like a whole thing. It's a whole explanation and it's so many moving parts. And I just think that everything together, because I am super high energy and really, I think I have really, really high cortisol because I am a stay-at-home mom, but I also am a nervous Nelly. I think between all of it is probably why I have had this flare. So trying to calm down, like.
And I know you've said like you've got rid of coffee for a time and didn't see a difference in your anxiety at all, because I feel for me that is a anxiety kicker.
No, I did no. So I like am huge into supplements too. Like I love taking gym supplements. I cut out all my gym supplements too because a lot of them have energy like they will give you like a surge of energy and I cut all of them out cold turkey and I haven't noticed anything. Nothing for weeks too. Not just like oh here a couple days and see weeks. And so after like a couple weeks, I was like, okay, I'm not going to reintroduce the gym supplements because who knows how that is affecting me. Down to like protein and creatine. I'm not taking any of that stuff anymore. And I took that when I wasn't having a flare. So I doubt that that is like one of the reasons I am having a flare, but it might be somehow affecting another part of like inflammation or something, whatever, because a lot of them have certain types of herbs in them. Um, but after a couple of weeks, I was like, you know what? I am only drinking water and eating meat. I just want a cup of coffee. And I didn't even feel like I drank the coffee with my energy. It wasn't that. It was more of just like, it's a comfort thing. So I was like, okay, I've given up all the supplements. I've given up everything except for meat. I'm only drinking water. Like I wasn't even drinking sparkling water. And that's all I want to wake up to is just like a cup of coffee. It's a comfort thing. Like you've even said that. It's not even so much about like anything. It's just like a warm cup of coffee. Um, but it does nothing to me. Nothing. I don't feel anything. When I do, I just missed it.
Yeah.
But the good thing is with the gym supplements, sorry, I'm rambling because I take pre-workout. I will say, I thought, oh, shoot, I'm going to cut these gym supplements out and I'm going to notice my strength is gone. I have not noticed any of that. My strength has not been compromised at all. So that's like, I don't need it. It's not
Yes.
something I need to take in order to maintain my gym performance. So I don't know that I'll ever take it like a pre-workout again.
Yeah, those always I remember years ago I posted this meme and because it's so true. It's like I took my pre-workout and now I can see sounds because it made me feel like a fucking lunatic.
It makes me feel super like tingly, like my lips get
Yes.
tingly and itchy. Like even one time I went to the bathroom while I was like tripped up on pre-workout. And when I was like pulling my pants up, the tingly of the pants, I was like, what is happening? I've never felt it's just like a really odd sensation, but I don't think that I need it because I didn't realize I guess you drink coffee and you take pre-workout and whatever, and you think like, oh, that's why I have all this energy. No, I am like that psychotic that I
Yeah.
have just as much energy without that stuff. So it's a waste of money because it's expensive. So I have coffee, I drink water, and I'm just eating meat again.
Okay. So what did you introduce? Because I remember at KetoCon, you ate a nice bowl of or basket of sweet potato fries sitting right next to the Miss Sally Norton, the
Yeah.
oxalate queen, antioxalate queen.
What is so crazy is that I did not know that potatoes were the one of the biggest culprits of oxalates. I had no idea.
And
No, I
that's like your issue,
yeah,
right?
that's
Is
like
like you need to stay away from the oxalates.
yeah, because I have like a history of either kidney stones or bladder stones. They really can't tell which one it is. Which I don't think that's what I'm suffering right now. I actually had a scan done and it didn't show any kidney stones. But when you like, if you have anything like interstitial cystitis or vulvodynia or anything like that, um, studies have shown that a low oxalate diet will help you with your symptoms. So I need to stay away from all that stuff. And I had no idea. But the good thing is that I learned so much once I was like, oh, like potatoes are actually, because I was doing all the things. I was peeling the skin off. I was washing them. I was soaking them like they say you should if you want to get rid of all the like the toxic, the gunk and stuff out of them. Like the skin is the most toxic part. I didn't know that they were high in oxalates. I just thought like almond flour, things like that, and spinach. But even avocados have a decent amount of oxalates, and I had no idea. And of course, I was eating avocados and sweet potatoes. Um, I will say plantains and bananas didn't seem to like bother me because bananas were one of the first things, but I had no idea. So now I feel like I learned something out of it though, because I had no idea that potatoes were a oxalate culprit.
Yeah, no, it's a good science experiment to
Yeah.
see. So nothing went well for you. You got rid of everything and you're just back to carnivore.
I just kind of feel so I had a really good appointment with a urogynecologist who was actually super supportive. I explained to her that I did carnivore for a really long time and she didn't even bat an eye. And I just told her, I was like, you have to understand, I was in so much pain when I started that. I was willing to do whatever. And she's like, your labs are fine. Everything's fine. And I told her that I reintroduced some foods and I didn't feel great. And so she gave me the list of like, they call it the interstitial cystitis diet. And she's like, just go on another elimination diet. And I was like, I'm just going to cut everything out. And she's like, cut it out, add it back in one thing at a time, give it 5 days. If you don't feel anything, you should be fine. She's super chill, but I figured the easiest way for me to start, I feel like it's a blank state. Give yourself like 30 days of carnivore, heal the body. And that's like what I'm focused on right now is being just eliminating as much as possible just so I can heal. Because obviously something is inflamed, and whatever I can do to get whatever the inflammation is inflaming down. And I feel like the best way is just to be a carnivore, just like get that inflammation down, focus on healing the body. And then if one day I do decide, I think I had some watermelon last week, but watermelon is like 75% water and it's not very acidic. So, yeah, I'm just going to do it because it's not worth the pain. I would rather eat meat for the rest of my life than be in pain for the rest of my life.
Yeah, for sure. So I would assume that you're not eating dairy then, right?
The only dairy, no, because she told me I need to cut out almost all dairy. I am having the organic half and half in my coffee, but I'm not doing cheese. Although I am thinking of doing your tuna patties. And I was like, I'll eat some cheese for that. But the thing is I don't eat a lot of dairy as it is. So we don't think that that's like what I am having a reaction to because I am not a dairy person.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make a lot of sense for me to have. I don't think dairy is great for overconsumption anyway, but because I just don't eat dairy as it is, like I can't tell you the last time I had cheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm not even a huge, okay, I do love cheese, so I won't say that. But for me, with dairy and the slippery slope is more of like cream as opposed to like cheese. I do love cheese, but yeah. But if you're gonna try those tuna patties, I mean, I should probably try this myself before I tell you to do it. But you could, I would assume you could probably swap out the cheese for some mayo and keep the egg. You don't like mayo?
hate mayo.
Oh, so you don't eat chicken salad or tuna salad or egg salad? There's crickets happening right now. No?
But I don't eat eggs. Like I don't like eggs either.
Okay. That's weird.
But I don't eat a lot of cheese. So I feel like if I do eat cheese, it's not going to be a big deal. I did eat a lot of bread cheese. But again, I was eating a ton of bread cheese when I didn't have a flare up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only thing I notice is that when I overdo the cheese, I get acne on my face. So that's like why I really cut it out. But yeah, I want to, if I'm going to be doing carnivore, I'm going to do like the pork rind, like all the bread too.
Yeah. Pork rind is
I
like
can't, I can't just eat ground beef because I will do that, but I can't. I'll get bored again.
yeah. Yeah. Try some of my shit. I feel like the pork rind panko is like the new almond flour or
Yeah,
cauliflower. Like it's you can use it in anything. It
I need
substitutes anything.
like what was it, carnivore? The Carnivore Crisp came out with that flour. They have like that. I probably should do some exploring with that too because that's the reason I reintroduced things. Like I couldn't eat. I was getting so sick of eating like the same thing every day. I was like, I'm not eating enough. I was losing a ton of weight, and I don't want to hear anyone say like, oh, that must be really hard. But it was like disgusting. I didn't like the way I looked, so I didn't want to keep losing weight. So I just need to like diversify my diet a little bit.
Yeah. Add in some variety. I got
But
you. What I'm here
that,
for.
that's what you're here for. And that's like a perfect segue. What's going on with you, Courtney?
Well, in case you haven't heard, I got a cookbook deal. So I'm working on that right now, which is not overwhelming at all. Good grief. It's
Oh
like,
my
what did
gosh.
I get myself into? Yeah. And I was insane when I gave them the timeline because they're like, take as long as you want. You tell us. If you want to have this done in 6 months or 2 years, you tell us. Well, I'm not a very patient person. As lovely as it would have been to just focus on one recipe a week, well, that would have been like a year and a half before I would hand this thing over. So I gave myself a 7 month deadline to get minimum of 75 recipes done. And we're already, I
Oh
think,
my,
like I know, right?
that is bananas.
It's insane. So
Are
where
you
we
allowed to recycle some? Because like you have so many as it is. And of course you don't want to reuse all of them. Like you want new recipes, but are you allowed at least a couple?
20% of the book can be old recipes, which I know, which equals like 15 recipes out of minimum of 75.
How many new
So,
recipes do you have?
well, it would be a minimum of 60. So right now I have a list of 90 total,
Okay.
and they won't all make the cut. I probably won't even have time to do them all. I am committed to a minimum of 75. Like my contract says 75 at the minimum, 75 to 115. So when I essentially just started this last week, like officially started, and so starting then makes me have to do 3 recipes a week until 2 weeks before my deadline because
You don't want to push it.
exactly, because there's other things I need to do too. There's going to be shopping list, meal plans, this and that. Like there's other stuff that's going in it besides just the recipes. So I'm feeling a little like wackadoodle. It's a lot. I'm going to be distracted. Jeff's setting up our cold plunge. That's a whole other thing I can talk about later. Um, I have to do the photos all myself, which is so funny because it's like, it makes sense because what are they going to do? Send somebody out every day to take
Yeah.
pictures?
But I feel like
Or
that's not something you think about. Like that's probably not something when people think about what goes into a cookbook, you don't think like, oh, she has to do the pictures herself too. You just assume they do that for you.
exactly. And I mean, I'm sure, and a lot of people do have it hired out, especially if you have the money. I don't have the money to take, I mean, essentially, it would probably be like 1 to 2 weeks, and you have a whole team cooking, styling, taking photos. It's a lot of money. I watch Danielle Walker from Against All Grain. She
Oh
shared
yeah,
some
I got
process.
that.
Yeah, so she did hers in the beginning. I don't know how many cookbooks she shot herself, but I know she at least did one. And now she has a team and they do it. And she spends, I think she said like 100 grand to get this all photographed and styled and all that. So
You talk to her personally?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, she's just
Oh, that's
sharing
like a
stuff in
big
her
contact.
stories. No, I should and be like, help me, tell me all your secrets.
She's the first person I watched. Like that was like my progression. Her cookbook and her watching her was how I like started, and my family started paleo. That was like our introduction. Once my family got their celiac disease diagnosis. She's like a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been following her for a long time too, because I started paleo like 10 years ago. So she's working on a cookbook right now. So she's sharing some of the process too. And it's just crazy, this whole picture thing, because it's not like I'm not, there's certain accounts out there that they cook, but they're also like in their bio, like they are a food photographer slash stylist. Like that is what they do. I am not that. Like I'm just somebody who cooks and I want to share my recipes. And now I have to be Steven Spielberg and shoot a video for you on Reels, or I have to be, I don't know, I can't
Yeah,
even name you a famous
stuff
photographer.
is always very aesthetically pleasing, though.
What's that?
Stuff is always very aesthetically pleasing. Like mine is not at all.
I mean, I guess I can kind of agree. I don't think my stuff is awful, but I don't know. It's just different. It's just not what like that's not my strong suit. So the fact that I'm doing it myself is like, it's hysterical. I feel like they have high hopes in me. They have to have like amazing editing skills because I'm going to just send them over the raw photo
And they put it.
zoomed out enough so they can do all the cropping and the brightening up, which also seems weird because now I'm handing over pictures that aren't final. So I'm not even proud of what I'm handing over because it's like, oh, I just want to crop it and brighten it up. So I'm in the process right now of working on my first 5 to send over to get feedback. So
Right.
I need to finish that today actually and get it sent over. So 5 recipes written out, 5 photos, so they can give me feedback. So I can hopefully do better for the next ones because I have a 60-page document on how to write a recipe, things that you wouldn't have even thought of, like little things, the order they're in, how you word things, you spell out cup instead of using like the big C, like just a bunch of like things that never would have crossed your mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's hard to even like remember all that like as I'm doing it. And what am I supposed to do? Go through it each time I write a recipe? I don't know. I feel like my editor is going to hate me. Like they're going to have a lot of work to do.
Now, because I have so many questions. Is it carnivore only? Is it only going to be carnivore?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty strict carnivore where not even really seasonings. I mean, I do have some desserts that are going to have cinnamon and vanilla, but those will be optional. And I wouldn't even think that the majority of them would need seasonings. I think the only thing that people would want to do is maybe you're making ribs or something. I'm not eating seasonings, so I'm not putting it on there. So I'm not even going to be like, here's a recipe for seasonings.
Yeah.
You're on your own. Grab your favorite like blend and
Right,
throw
right,
it
right.
on there. So other than that, yeah, I'm going to have a little section for like animal-based kids, which I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to share things for that because I don't taste stuff. Like I don't even have a bite of my kids' fruit. And if I'm making them like these banana pancakes, I don't want to put anything out there that I haven't tried. So I was just actually talking about this with Cassie on our live this morning. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Do I take a bite and then taste it and spit it out? Or is just tasting it, is that going to trigger something for me? Because I have no sweets in my diet. Like I don't use stevia or anything. I'm afraid that having that flavor will send me back into sugar binge land. So that's the one little thing I've just been starting to think about. Like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to quite tackle that little part of this book.
That's so, yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. I didn't know if you were going to do like a ketovore type of approach where you were adding things in, because I feel like a carnivore cookbook, like I mean Maria Emmerich is doing some has I don't know if it's out or not. I think she's doing like a carnivore cookbook too, so it's like it can be done. But I feel like I feel like the creativity part of it is so crazy because people like you and me just eat the same thing every single day.
Yeah. And so I feel like even what's in my book, I don't think people should be eating all these crazy recipes every day. Like, I think we should prioritize our meats, keep it simple. Like, I can't even, you're looking at titles and it's like, paleo made simple or blah, blah, blah made simple. It's like, I can't even say carnivore made simple because I'm doing the opposite. We're going from simple burger patties to now here's some
Like
5 ingredient recipes.
I think of it as like a creative approach to carnivore.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the little subtitle is, and still working on the wording, but it's like to help you make carnivore creative and sustainable. So for those that do need more than just burger patties and steaks every day, like once a week, make my chicken Alfredo with my carnivore noodles. Like I think that would be great and make it more fun and sustainable for people that get burnt out easily.
Yeah. The other thing that I can't stop thinking about though is because we had this conversation with Jen, or maybe it wasn't. I had a conversation. No, I think it was all of us at KetoCon. We were talking about how I was having the effect of where I'm like, I'm never hungry. Like, I just don't want to eat. Like, I never feel hungry. I can't eat. And Jen was saying, like, oh no, I could eat all the time. And I was like, oh my God, like, what does that feel like? What is it like making these recipes and having to try them all the time? Because I imagine like you're not hungry. I don't know. You seem to have more, only because we've talked about this. I don't mean it in a bad way. You seem to have a little bit more of an appetite than me because I have no appetite at all. And you're like, Devin, you're eating rabbit-sized portions.
Yeah, no,
Are you sick of eating?
no, I'm getting fatter though. And here's the thing, my recipes won't make you fat. My thing is I have dairy issues where I can eat them without being hungry. So I'm really working on just trying to be mindful of what I'm eating. And because maybe this is just spoken like a true addict, but I'm never going to go the rest of my life without having dairy. Like I love it. It brings me joy. It's going to happen. So I'm trying to figure out that balance. And like last night, like I was like, God, I really want a bowl of pork rind cereal or even just like a bowl of yogurt. And I wasn't truly hungry, but my mind goes to those things that taste good. Not that a ribeye doesn't taste good, but there's no desire to have a ribeye if I'm not actually hungry.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. In the last month, actually, I've haven't really been in the best place. Ever since I stopped Lion, Lion was really great. Meat only, like I was thriving. It was great. Incorporated dairy back in, and that's where like the scale has gone up probably like 5 pounds. I'm just I'm struggling a little bit with like my hunger cues and not eating when I'm not really hungry. And yeah, part of that's because of the book. I have to be creating these recipes and I have to taste them. Now I just need to like have a little bit of responsibility, like taste them and not binge on them when I'm not hungry. So that was a long answer for
No,
that.
that's because I was like thinking about this as I'm like watching you go in your stories and you're posting about round 2, round 3, and I'm like thinking of how my appetite is because I am one of those people, and we had an awesome conversation with about this at KetoCon, but I am one of those people like I once I get into that state of ketosis, I'm really honed in on my diet. people get very upset when I count calories, but I have to count calories because I will not eat enough. My body, and it makes sense, like a biological standpoint, being in ketosis, not being hungry, it makes sense. That's how that's how it's supposed to be. But because of how much weight I did lose, especially before introducing foods, and the progression and how rapidly I was losing weight, um and how little I was eating was like alarming. It was not healthy. And it's just because I was never hungry. And so I have to count calories to make sure that I am eating enough in order to sustain what I'm doing in the gym, because I'm like super shallow and love working out for aesthetics too. So like I was trying to grow muscle, like, you know, this, we talk about this all the time. Like, I just want to be like super like muscular, and I couldn't put on muscle. And because I could legitimately go days without eating because I just was never hungry, and it just was not healthy. So I was thinking about like, oh my God, if I'm like making all these recipes like Courtney, like how, I don't know how I just could never eat them because I'm not hungry a lot, you know?
Yeah, no issue with that. I can eat. Yeah, well, that makes me think about something that Lily Kane said, that she like purposefully has like a glass of raw milk or some sort of dairy because it makes her more hungry,
Mhm.
and she can easily go without eating enough. So she has the dairy to help her eat.
With the
So I know
calories.
you try to not have a lot of dairy, but maybe having, raw milk, maybe that would be better. Maybe that would help you eat more.
Right. Well, and that's like with like the bread cheese too. I never lost a rapid amount of weight before I went dairy free, you know, because I was eating so many calories. Again, that was all almost from fat, but that's okay. I don't have a problem under eating protein for the most part. But I was like thinking, like, even with your tuna patties, like I've started cooking everything in butter again, just because I'm like calories, calories, calories. So cooking, and I don't want to use olive oil. I mean, avocado oil anymore, just because of the oxalate content. But cooking everything in butter, like I've been trying to eat some more eggs, so cooking that in butter to get in the calories. The tuna patties is like, oh, cheese, like I'll be able to get in calories. But I really don't, I've never been a dairy person. So I really doubt, um, when the flare started, I was not eating dairy. So I don't really think that I don't want to overconsume it, but it would definitely help me get the calories in, definitely get that hunger up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Because I notice it can mess with my hunger cues too, and it makes me more snacky and hungry for things. If you're just focusing on meat, it's really easy to just eat what you need. So yeah, this is my constant struggle, is this damn dairy, trying to find the balance, but I can't go without it. Like, having it here and there would be ideal, and that's what's going to keep this sustainable for me. Like, it's hard to just do meat.
Because we talked a little bit about your Lion Diet experience, because I think I did, what did I do? Lion Diet for, I think I did what would be considered Lion. This is all like almost a year and a half, 2 years ago though. No, we're like creeping up. For 2 weeks, and I was like, all I want is chicken wings. Could you sustain Lion Diet long term, do you think, or no?
No, because I wanted other animals. Like, I
Yeah.
just want, yeah, I think what would be easier would be having all the animals with no dairy. I think I could do that, as much as I love dairy, but yeah, I mean, I definitely couldn't just do lion. Like, I want other animals. I want salmon, chicken wings, bacon, butter. Yeah, lion was not for me.
Now, are in your cookbook, are you including, like, you're doing everything, right? Are you doing all the meats, like beef, salmon, turkey? Like, are we doing everything?
Yeah, I don't have anything turkey written down. I don't do much turkey ever, really.
But we love it. But like a good turkey is like, that's an idea. Like, don't you love like a good turkey leg or something like that?
Um, I mean, maybe book number two can be like carnivore holiday foods, and then we'll tackle the
Oh, yeah, because like you even get to like pork rind stuffing is a thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Um,
I feel like that could be a good second book idea, and that's kind of been in my head. If this one, you guys have to fucking buy this one for there to be a second one.
we
So
are
if
gonna
this one goes
blow it up.
well, if
I
this one goes
expect
well,
I expect an advanced copy, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. Signed. Yeah. I mean, the pre-sales are going to be a huge deal for this. And that kind of like sets the tone on how this book will do and the expectancy and stores like buying it. Like if it's doing well in pre-sale, then they'll want to buy it. So, but that's a whole other topic.
Okay, I guess we can like how long are
We
we?
should probably try and wrap this up. I don't know what time we started, and I don't see a running clock on the
Because you and I
recording.
could we could talk nonstop. What is like the last, I have a couple more questions though. What is like the expected projection of release? Like, have they given you any indication? Because you've given yourself a timeline, so there must be some sort of end goal for
Yeah,
release date.
they need 6 to 9 months after I hand in the manuscript. So we are shooting for fall of 2024.
Okay, so like a year from now.
Pretty
Like a
much, maybe even
yeah,
a little more. Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
I can't wait for it to be done. Like I want to enjoy this process, enjoy the journey, but I just can't wait for like that book to be in my hands and have this whole process like be done just because it's so much work. And I'm the type of person that makes things a bigger deal than they are, and I'm easily overwhelmed by things that are not that big of a deal. So this is going to be a stressful. Jeff's in the background, like, yeah, I know he thinks I'm psycho. This will be a gnarly 6 months, so I'm excited to get it done and then just focus on like promoting it and getting it out there to everybody.
I feel like, and even though it's such an honor and it's so exciting and like I can't wait, I think about it more than I probably should. Like I'm like living by it. I've always thought about writing a book because I was a really talented writer in college. I've thought about writing a book, but now listening to you, I'm like, yeah, maybe not. But like I feel like it's one of those things you're gonna be when you're holding it. You're gonna be like, it's so worth it. But thank God, it was so worth it. But it's gonna be like a weight off your chest.
Yeah, like yeah, I can't imagine how I will feel. And I think about it a lot. I was like, one day, soon I'm going to be standing here holding the copy of my book, and this will all be like done and in my hands. So that I can't imagine like what feeling that will be, like relieved and happy and almost like a new baby that you're like giving birth
Yeah,
to. So
a labor
yeah,
of love.
and then that will be a whole process on promoting it and getting it out there and hopefully, sharing it with other influencers and maybe Dr. Barry will share it, because I want this to be a success for the publishing company. Like I'm nervous because it's not like I'm, someone out there that has hundreds of thousands of followers. Like I don't have a massive following like a lot of these people do when they get book deals.
Right, right.
So
But that could also like it could be
yeah,
like
a lot can change in a year for sure. And who knows, like, I have a publicist working with me on this. And Lord knows like what she's gonna do and what she'll get me on. They'll try to get me on podcasts and different news shows or whatever, magazine articles. So you never know like where this all can lead. It's pretty wild to think about it.
so exciting. I'm so excited.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to talk about today?
No, I think that was like a lot of us just talking about ourselves.
Well, I mean, I don't, yeah, that's kind of part of it, just to get caught up on where we've been since we haven't been sharing. Well, unless you follow me on social media, but you haven't been sharing much on social media, but you're coming
No,
back, right?
yeah, this is like I posted to my stories on Instagram as just kind of needed. My mental health I've been super open about how I have struggled with my mental health. Carnivore, it really hasn't done much for my anxiety because I think it's so much deeper than that. I also think maybe there's like a little undiagnosed ADHD now that I like cut out caffeine completely, which I haven't done for years. And realized how high energy I am without anything. So I think there might be some like some little imbalance or something, not like a psycho, but just really high energy. And finding ways to calm my mind. And I think I just needed a break, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
It's
Now
Jeff
you're,
back there going, she's nuts. Like
well, no, now Archer is standing there waving and he has a camping headlight on his head.
but yeah, I'm like, I want to start making content. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep up with what I did before we moved here. Because my husband was working from home and I think I just had a lot more help. I was posting 3 times a day, 6 days a week. And I just don't think that that's ever going to happen again. But I at least would like to post 4 or 5 times a week, just what I'm eating, maybe some pelvic floor health, maybe some mental health. Like this is like a day in the life of a mom who's psychotic. I don't know. But yeah, I want to try, and I miss like posting like makeup. Like that's why I started the page, you know? So
Yeah, you should just be doing Get Ready with Me every day that you're putting your
I
makeup on.
I really should just
Go
see
live.
it's super quick and easy, and it really isn't a big deal. Part of like my one of my goals when my son goes back to school is I have noticed when I start my day off by doing yoga stretching for like the pelvic floor and just breathing, that I feel better with my cystitis, and I also like calm down. So I would like to start waking up super early and doing that in the mornings. I already wake up earlier than my kids do, but I was like thinking of maybe like starting off the day at like 5 a.m. just doing yoga. And if I wake up that early, I'll be able to film that stuff more because I'll have more time. And that's what I was doing before we moved here, is like waking up at 5 a.m., doing my thing. So I would like to share that, like just like 5 a.m. morning stretches, get ready with me, like
Yeah.
let's talk
People
type
want to
stuff.
know. We're nosy. People are nosy. They want to see what's going on, like behind the scenes, what people are doing, and have it be more of like document, not creating. Like people just want to see genuinely what people are doing.
Right. And it's so funny to me. And I'm not saying in this like a conceited influencer way, but like it's funny because I think you and I have like chatted about this. Like, I feel like I'm so boring. I feel like I'm so boring. Like, I do the same stuff all day, every day. But people are like, I want to see what you do during the day. And I'm like, but I love watching other normal people do that stuff too. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't understand why anyone cares about what I do during the day because my life is so typical, but people really care. And people have shown that by messaging me and being like, where are you? What's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I didn't know people actually cared. But then I look at myself and I'm like, of course I care about like other people, other creators. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just, and then taking a break from the podcast too, I kind of was like, well, I don't have an excuse to be on social media because we were always filming or doing something with the podcast. And then I was like, well, we're not filming. So it's just like I didn't have anything to be on Instagram about anyway. So
Yeah, people want to know. And that's kind of why I started vlogging on YouTube is I've been watching Nisha Berries and I'm like, I love watching what she's doing just throughout her day. And it's not like she is not that she doesn't have a thrilling life, but it's just simple and it's relatable. She's at home with her kids and then she cooks and she does whatever. I'm like, well, if she can do it, I'm gonna do it. And yeah, it's gotten a good response because people are just curious and nosy by nature and they just want to know what's on.
yeah, so hopefully we'll get back into the swing of things. But the first Friday of every month, we will have a new episode of Eat Meat and Question Everything. So I'm excited to get back into filming.
Me too. All right. So we will see you guys soon. Come on social, say hi, let us know who you want us to have on here, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thanks for listening.
Bye.